How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. So in an effort to review more soft strings, this year I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on reviewing some softer polyesters because I know you guys have been asking for it. I personally like stiffer polyesters, so I've never really used soft polys that much, but today I am talking about a soft poly that I actually really do like, and it's this green one right here. So first thoughts, maybe most of you guys would think this is Solinco Hyper-G, but in actuality, today we are taking a look at the Signum Pro X-Perience. So remember to overhead smash that like and subscribe button if you guys like this content. Let's check out the Signum Pro X-Perience. So maybe you guys have heard of the brand Signum Pro before. They do make one of my top 5 budget polys under $10 called the Signum Pro Poly Plasma. That one holds tension very well, but it doesn't really do anything else quite that well. But they are made in Germany and they do make high quality strings, and in my opinion this Signum Pro X-Perience is one of my favorite strings made by the company. I apologize, I don't have the package to show you guys. I got this in an unmarked set and I strung it up in my Babla Pure Strike Wimbledon edition. I strung it at 50 and 48 in the mains. So what separates the Signum Pro from the rest of the pack? Well, first of all, it's about $15 a set or $160 a reel, so it's not super cheap, but it's not quite as expensive as like Luxon Olive Power, which costs $20 a set and over $200 a reel. So it is reasonable. It's about a mid-range poly in terms of the price. It is also a shaped poly. It's hexagonal 6-sided. You guys know I like shaped strings. It bites the ball very well, and this is one of those shaped strings. It's a little bit smoother. The sides are a little bit smoother than a sharper poly like the Hyper-G, but also when I was stringing this up, it is a very, very slick string. It's very slippery, so that means that I'm assuming this gets really good snapback. Lastly, Signum Pro has injected this string with special softening agents, which is meant to increase comfort and give you that nice soft feel. The Signum Pro X-Perience currently comes in a 130, a 124, and a 118 millimeter. And as you guys know, I like the thinner gauge strings because it gets me more power, feel, and spin. So I got the 118 millimeter strung at 50 and 48 in my Pure Strike 98. So let's get on the court and play with this, and let's get into the pros and cons, starting with the pros of the Signum Pro X-Perience. So starting with the pros of the Signum Pro X-Perience, I think many of you would be pleased to hear that this string is very comfortable, very soft, but at the same time it's not mushy or springy. I tend to not really like soft strings because they're mushy and they lack control or feel, especially when I try to hit aggressively from the baseline on my returns, or also when I try to use my touch and drop shots and angle volleys. They lack control, the soft strings, and which is why I tend to not like them. But this Signum Pro X-Perience doesn't sacrifice that control or that feel in exchange for that soft response, which I quite liked. Because it's so soft, it translates to easy power from the baseline. I could hit penetrating ground strokes from both wings. I was especially surprised by my backhand. Usually my backhand, because it's two-handed, I don't generate that much pace on it, but when I loaded up and I was able to strike the ball in my sweet spot, waist high, I could generate decent pace and hit some penetrating backhand ground strokes, which I can't do with stiffer polys. And obviously this added power definitely helped on my forehand too. My forehand is my weapon. I like to run around it and hit aggressively as much as possible, especially on my return of serves. I even felt comfortable taking swinging volleys from the transition zone to keep the pressure on my opponents. Arguably my favorite shots or strokes with this Signum Pro X-Perience was the serves. The serves were awesome because of that easy power. My flat serves cleared the net with ease, and I had good enough control to be able to hit the corners with the flat kick and slice. But I felt really confident and comfortable going for the flat serves. Whenever I use stiffer polys, my flat serve suffers because of that lack of power. I end up hitting the ball into the net quite often. With the Signum Pro X-Perience, my flat serves were clearing the net with ease, and they were maintaining that pace, and my opponents commented that my serves were especially heavy when they went in. Because I'm a serve and volleyer, I definitely like a string or a racket that helps me get an edge with my serve game. This string definitely helped me, and at the net, this string provided good pop. When I had to hit that first volley low in the transition zone, my low volleys had easy net clearance and I could pin my opponent deep so I could push up to the net. Overheads felt super good. If I hit it cleanly, it usually went for a winner. And even just hitting chest high volleys to set up for the next shot, I was able to pin those volleys deep and at my opponent's feet. This string just provided so much pop on the ground strokes, on the serves, and on the volleys. And lastly, the spin potential for the Signum Pro X-Perience is great, especially with the 6 sides. Combined with the thin gauge, I used the 118 gauge. This string got some wicked spin. The slices stayed nice and low and the kick serves kicked high and it pushed my opponent's back. I love hitting kick serves with this string. I noticed that nice loopy trajectory that my kick serves were taking, and when they landed, they kicked off to the side, so I saw my opponents stretching on their backhand side to return my kick serves. I won a lot of easy points off the kick serves with this string. Returning and playing net with this string was a blast. Now moving into the cons of the Signum Pro X-Perience, this is the one area that I think holds this back from being a string that eclipses the Solinco Hyper G, and that is the loss of tension. The snapback and spin potential is great initially, but it drops off very quickly. I noticed the spin and control dropping off during the 3rd play session. The strings were getting stuck out of place and the tension tanked. I was having to shift my strings after every point. When the strings all shift to one direction and you hit aggressively with the strings stuck out of place, they're not gonna move and snap back, so that's why it results in lack of control. I sent a lot of forehand returns long after that 3rd play session when the strings snap back and tension maintenance tanked. Because I'm an aggressive player, my aggressive game suffered as a result. At the net, the tension loss and spin loss is not so noticeable because I take such a compact swing up there, but definitely my return game and my ground strokes is the place that I suffered the most. So as the playtest wore on, I found myself increasingly staying off the baseline and coming up, serving and volleying, returning and volleying as much as possible, just because I lost that confidence hitting ground strokes from the baseline. So in my opinion, this is not a great value for money, but it's not terrible either. But at $15 a set, I do wish that it held its tension and held its snapback better. It's surprising that the snapback dropped off as quickly as it did, because when I was stringing this string, it felt really glossy and slippery. But unfortunately, that's the reality. So for me, I can't use this string longer after the 3rd play session because of that drop off in tension and snapback. So who is the Signum Pro X-Perience for? It's obviously for players who are looking for a comfortable yet playable poly that gets good pop, good feel, and good spin. This string has a lot of good things going for it. The only downside is its lack of tension. For a $15 string, I wish it held its tension better, but if you're the type of person where tension loss doesn't really bother you, or you don't notice it, or if you're willing to try and pre-stretch this string, then I think this string could work for you. Keep in mind, whenever you pre-stretch a string, it does make it stiffer, which might negate that soft and comfortable feel, which is what I think will attract most players to this Signum Pro X-Perience. But this is a great string. I love it. Maybe I'll try it again in a hybrid as a cross because it is slippery and smooth. If I use the main string that's snap backed a little bit better, it could be a good option. If you have tennis elbow but you still like using polys, you might consider using this in a hybrid with a synthetic or multi-filament to protect your arm. But the Signum Pro X-Perience is currently my favorite Signum Pro string. I'm definitely curious to try more, so I'm excited to get my hands on more Signum Pro strings and get those reviews out for you guys in the future. Thank you for watching this review of the Signum Pro X-Perience string right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.